I guess being a father means responsibility. The moment you bring a child into this world, you are responsible for his or her life for as long as the father lives. You want to provide them the best you can within your means. You want them to be happy, to be successful.
As a perspective of a daughter, I view my father as a role model. He doesn't have to be providing the family just on the material aspect, but as well as, more important to me, it's time.
Well, for me, I think a father is somebody that, I can depend on. In a way, if I have any problems that I face, be it at school or at work, I can seek for his counsel and his guidance, so he can maybe pass on his wisdom to me and his experience so that I can learn, and also at the same time how to deal with that situation. So I guess, yeah, I would say him as a good support in my life. Yeah.
I'm not too sure what is the social expectation of a father these days, but I think it simply means having your share of workload with the mother, right? Unlike my father's time, but also partly my time, where all the father need to do is work, bring home the bacon and put food on the table. Then the rest of the part you leave it to the mother.
My social expectation, I think, last time the traditional thinking is that dad only provides for the family, but current mindset, I would think that it's fair to have the father and mother sharing the material aspect as well as the domestic aspect of taking care of a family.
Social expectation of my father, well, I guess he's just living the life, right? I mean, he lived his life the way he wants to live. Okay, of course he does provide for the family because he's from a different generation. I'm not saying that you're old, but still, he does provide for the family, and my mom is a housewife, so she stays at home and take care of us. But I guess now, even for my dad, he promotes like me and my brother to say that, if you can pull the weight in a family, let's do that, because we work as a family unit and everybody plays a part. So social aspect, I think everybody has different expectation from a dad, but essentially it still boils down to the bottom that a dad is always there to give support, aside from monetary support. Yeah, but there is a support mentally, so that doesn't steer far.
I think being a father pre or during or post-COVID, it is still the same. I don't think there's any difference. The only difference is that it depends on the age of your children. If they are young primary school or even lower secondary, then maybe you got to micromanage a bit more to make sure they wear their masks, they don't go to crowded places, practice the usual hygiene and all that. Other than that, COVID or no COVID, you are still a father.
I don't live with my father, so expectation prior to COVID is that once a month I get to visit him. Post-COVID or in COVID situation, I don't get to visit my father for 2 years. Yeah.
Good question. I didn't ask my dad how it felt like during COVID-19, but I can tell you something for sure. Because I don't stay with my dad as well, okay? But I do meet up with him, like he will come over for meals and we do like catch up. I guess it is more or less business as usual. Life is still the same, it's still ongoing, right? We can't say that because of COVID we stopped living. So yeah, I guess I still have my dad's company. I mean, whenever I've got problems or I got issues that I do not know how to solve, I still would run to my dad and it's like, hey dad, what's up? I've got a problem. So things like that. So yeah, I guess no change.
What does it mean to be a father? I guess a father role is to be responsible for the children, right? The moment you bring a child on to this world, you're responsible to feed him, to make sure he get the whatever, to get the best things, as long as it is within your means, and you want the child to be happy, to be successful, and guide him or her as he goes along. So I guess that's my definition of being a father.
So my childhood was full of happy memories. We have PlayStation, you know, those good stuff. And then my dad's business failed. So it was a very sudden change of childhood from 12 to 13. I still remember there was point of time where we go to school, because I was already in that school and my dad didn't want us to change school. So there was a period of time that he drove us to school, but the car actually don't have air condition, right? And then he tried to provide everything for my brother and I so that we can complete the high school, which was good. Yeah. And then I remember a lot of things because he was a boss, right? And then at the age of 40 plus, 50, he went and get his, like, he go door to door knock to ask for a job. But because it was, of course it was harder on my mom because he has been with my dad for a very long time, and then this sudden change. So it was definitely harder on my mom. But my dad was there like a superhero, like a role model. He tried to keep the family together. Even if he don't eat, he will still buy for the family. Yeah. And then I still remember at the age of 12, he set us together and then he tell my brother and I, like, sorry, Daddy, lost all your education fund. And then you all need to study really hard to actually, like, make it for your tertiary education. Daddy can only sponsor you until 17. So it was a very huge impact for my brother and I at that age. So at that age, I think I learned that my dad doesn't have to provide doesn't have to just provide materially, but he just needs to be a role model. He just needs to be there for the family when we need him to keep the family together. And then at the end of the day, I learned that yes, money is important, but to have my dad, I always call my dad the man of my life, because I don't think my family would make it if it wasn't for him until today. So yeah, that's my perspective of my dad. It's not just the material aspect, it's about how you feel, but you're still able to stand up for the family. That's my fatherly figure.
Before we pass the mic to you, what caught me was when you said it was harder for your mom. Why is it so? Right? Don't you think it's very hard for your dad too? Just that particular, why you say it is harder for your mom?
The reason why I say it was harder for my mom is harder for my mom to accept the change. It wasn't so hard for my dad because he has, I'm sure it's hard for him, but he doesn't show it in front of the kids. Like, we were so young, right? So he didn't want to let us feel the pressure, but my mom was emotionally showing it to my brother and I. So that's why.
Yes, that is very typical of a father. They don't show it very openly. They can be very emotional, but it's deep inside. That's why you see Mother's Day, a lot of show of affections and all this and that, but the Father's Day tend to be more subdued. But that's how the fathers are being viewed. You know, actually they care a lot. They have emotions and they worry, but they keep more inside. Even when they love a son or a daughter, they don't like show it very openly. That, you know, where compared to the mom. That is my view. You want to add on?
I guess for me, I mean, hearing what Jessie had shared on her own personal experience about how heroic her dad is, and also hearing from a dad's perspective, I think it all made sense that a father tends to be always having the need to put a stronger front. And to show that he is strong for the family. I think that's what fathers normally do, which I guess it shows as well the beauty of the role of father.
So I want to clarify is that my dad, after his business failed, he actually opened up a lot to us. It's just not the emotional way that my mother did. It was very, very hard because my mother was very emotional, and until as long as my memory can recall, is that he keeps on talking about the day my dad business failed, how he cost this family, blah, 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 blah.
The question in my mind is, did your mom blame your dad for the business failure?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think my mom really wanted to leave the family. Yeah. She wanted to. She was still there, but I just remember even when we were like studying, then suddenly she will say things like, "Your dad lah, or your daddy's fault lah," you know. Then, like, everything in my mind is that my mom will always blame my dad. And I was 12 years old. Yeah. But my dad will always get us to the room and then say, "Don't blame your mommy, because mommy also very hard." So that's why my brother and I grew up to be very close with my dad. Yeah, and then my mom had to go through a very tough phase. I don't blame her at all, because there was a point of time she had to go through an abortion as well. So it just all happens together. So if it wasn't for my dad, right? Yeah, probably cannot, like, our family couldn't pull through. So I always view my dad as # the man of my life. If my future husband got my dad's qualities, then he's the guy. Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier, I heard you saying your dad being a role model, right? My view is that you can be a role model to your children to a certain extent, but once they pass the teenager age, they mix around, their peers pressure, the environment, the circumstances, then I think they come to a point where they will live their own life. They will build their own character, and no matter how, even like you said, abstain from smoking. But if the kids, as a young adult, wants to take out smoking, then he or she might just do so because of peer pressure or because of circumstances, because of stress or whatever. So my point is that a father can be a role model up to a certain stage.
I think my father is perhaps a little bit like what Jessie's father is. Although my dad never start like a business, never experienced that, but more of him just encouraging. I think he's not. He's a man of a few words. He doesn't talk much. At least to me and my brother, but he talks a lot to his friends. But like yeah, so whenever he has a conversation with us, he's always telling me, like, always ask questions, never fear to ask questions, always remember the 5W1H. He always do that with me. And I think in terms of how I view my dad, it's more of a mental support, more than I don't remember him giving me such like open conversation. I think he's not good with it. So he's like, okay, you know what, you handle it. So he asked my mom to do that. But for him, it's more like based on his experience at work, what is it that he can value add to me, to give me some word of advice on how I deal with people and how I deal with situations. And so that I honor my dad for it. And definitely, you know, we do, I have to say, we do give lesser credits as a society to dad, like what Danny has shared. We did more of a big hoo-ha for moms than we did for Father's Day. And so that's this video. But this is why we're doing this video, to sort of recognize from a dad's point of view and what dad has done, and what actually in the silent that he contributes as well to our life, and what sort of impacts.
I'm not very certain if I know what is the social expectations of a father now, right? I can only guess. So maybe these two young ladies, you should tell me what are your expectations of a father. Then I'll take it from there.
Okay, thank you, Danny. Well, for me, I feel that the role of the father, in terms of the social aspect, okay, I think it still doesn't stray from the fact that fathers are there to provide support to the family, but what we see right now is that in terms of financial burdens, in fact, that responsibility has now been distributed as well to the mother. So both parents are actually bringing in the financial support to the family. And on top of that, fathers are also stepping up by helping out in the family in terms of domestic help. Doesn't mean that they are maid lah, but like you know, they probably doing their part, whatever they can, they are helping. So I think that is one of the key difference that I do see that Singapore as a society is moving into. But of course, there are other societies that are going there as well, it's just like taking a while, like places like Japan and Korea. I think they still have that traditional mentality, or at least this is what I understand from my friend, is that the wife still stays at home while the husband goes out to work. And when he comes home, he is expected to be served, you know. So there is still such like a traditional lifestyle, I would say, for a father. Yeah.
Hearing that, I would just like to know that, then what's your personal opinion? Like, do you prefer your other half providing for the family, or you don't?
I do want the best of both worlds. Well, actually, right, for me personally, I feel that I love to work. I mean, I like to be outside. Doesn't mean that I get tired at home, but I feel like I need some personal space as well. And so I do see that for females, when they are working, it's an opportunity to get to let them feel fulfilled in whatever that they want to do. So I would agree to the fact that right now, when we are moving to this direction, it's a right direction for Singapore, because both husband and wife should in fact play a part to help in the financial contribution, but also at the same time, in terms of domestic, I don't think any woman would actually like to do housework all the time. So a little bit of working, a little bit of housework, that's okay. Same thing for guys. So this is really just like a husband and wife. They need to discuss and say that, what are the things that I am comfortable doing? What are the things that perhaps these are the things that I'm not comfortable, and then you can help out in this area. So yeah, this is something that probably is what most of us would be going for. Yeah, but in terms of fatherly role, I don't think there is a change in that. I think fathers will still have to be there for their children, no matter how busy they are. There are some people that are really busy, very successful at work, and then they don't spend enough time with their children. I think that is it requires some tweaking, which is why the society is now promoting a work-life balance, because family is placed first. Yeah.
I think those that do not spend enough time with the family, using business, I think it's just an excuse. I think that there are more to that. Honestly, there are more to that. So if I hear you correctly, the modern expectations is that the father must play a bigger role in the domestic part of the family. Right? Yeah. Yes, I think during my time too, I think there's already this transition. Well, during my dad time, it's very clear. The father earn the money, put food on the table, that's it, full stop. The rest, disciplining the children and all that, taking care of the children, is the mother role. That come to my time, I think it's about almost 50-50%, right? Some still remain that old father status, whereas for me, I actually try to help at night after work. I work long hours too. I work until 8-9 p.m. sometimes. So I will help as best as possible, and then often I will actually, in the middle of the night, I'll wake up to feed my 3 children, right? About twice or thrice a night. That is because I know that my wife, once she's awake, she cannot sleep back. Whereas I can wake up and then next 5 minutes I can sleep. I can even carry the baby. Feed the baby, and then sleep. But all said, women are women. Right? With due respect to your, women can be very fussy, can be very temperamental. So sometimes if the men try to do too much, you get into bigger problem. So some men actually holding back, not that they don't want to do, right?
This female likes to be the one that feels like, we need to be in control, things have to be done our way, in a way.
Yeah. So you do this is wrong, you do that is wrong. So how to do? So don't do. Yeah.
I totally agree with Danny's perspective. Like, okay, just my bring up, right? The tradition, my family brought up in a traditional mindset where my dad puts food on the table, my mother was the one that's sending us to schools and all that. But because of what I've seen when I was young, I try not to put all hopes to one man. Because in case it fails, I must know that I'm financially capable to take care of myself, and if I have kids, my kids. So that I don't just get emotionally drained and then, getting messy up there and then trying to like blame the whole world for whatever happened to me. So I learned it a very hard way at a very young age, and I think my brother too. So both of us we got to earn a lot of money. That's our mindset. But from social expectation is that if I'm financially capable, financially independent, of course I would expect my future fathers to be financially capable, financially independent as well. And then we can together, if we're gonna plan to have kids, I hope not, that we can we can. No, I don't want to be a mom. I think being a mom will I'm not ready. I don't think I'm ready. Don't think I'll ever be ready. Yeah, so but if both of us are financially capable and an accident happens, at least we know that we can bring up this child. No worries, we can fund their education. So I think social expectation traditionally is definitely the father has to put it on the table. But right now, I think it's women gotta step up themselves, men gotta step up themselves, equally provide for the family and equally be there for the family. Thus, like you said, work-life balance. And I think it's very interesting what Danny said that like how people use I'm very busy as an excuse to not be there for the family, because yes, I think busy is just an excuse. Danny, you got something to say?
Yes. Yeah. That is why I always cringe when I see forum letters in newspaper that the father asking for more and more paternity leave. To me, I think paternity leave is a real bullshit, right? You don't need that. You can still work your 8 hours a day, right? And then you don't let your wife do the thing, because the bonding with the mother and child is very important. Let them do their thing. But you come back at night after your dinner, you try to help as much as possible. Iron clothes, wash dishes, it's okay. You don't have to be there 24 hours. You're going to cause more problem, I tell you, right? There'll be more argument, more conflict, right? I think there is absolutely no problem with that, because I would like to think that during the time of courting and discussion to get married, the guy already knows that the girl, the female, is the wife to be, is earning more than him. So and if both agree, and then I don't see any problem with that. Maybe um, in the later on, many years later, when they start quarreling, then maybe it might surface a bit. But at the end of the day, it has been agreed before I got married. So it's not that after getting married, she started to earn more than him, or he lose his job and I look down on him and all that. So if right from the start, the guy knows that, or both, they know each other that the female is earning more than the male, then perfectly okay. Actually, in true life, I know of a few families who actually the men are actually playing the role of the housekeeper. He looks after the family and don't work. Giving the children tuition, doing all the domestic chores, even cook and all that. And the wife work, and it works out pretty well. I think they're quite happy family.
Since Danny shared about like when they already decided marry, I'll share like personal opinion since I haven't get married. Right? I'll share like the personal opinion, like if I'm already at this certain level, then I would expect my partner to be of this certain level, if not higher. Of course, then once you get into marriage, you already agreed with each other and all that kind of stuff. Then if something fails, then you would want to build up with him all over again, and I will be his strongest support. Yeah, because that's how you actually get to understand the power of it. Investing a stock. If you buy a Tesla, for example, right, the potential to grow might be just that. It's very small compared to you buy a very, very small stock and then you invest it together and then you grow together and then you become a Tesla stock. I think that is more impactful for my personal life. Yeah.
So the husband is an investment.
Yeah, I'm sure they see
Speak correctly. Speak correctly.
They see wife as an investment also.
I guess for every female, right, it's always nice to know that you have a guy who has more earning power than you, in a way whereby you feel like, okay, I'm being taken care of. However, I think with our current society right now, female has more earning power, and thus, there are instances whereby female have more, more income than the guys, but nothing shameful about it. I think it's just what it is. And like what Danny has just shared, the woman would have already known of this situation, and if she's still willing to marry him, then it is more than just a earning power, but it is how after the marriage, how she motivates him, how she directs him and helps him at the same time, and of course for the guy's portion, how much he wants to improve. I think definitely there is a possibility to work out things, and if there is any issue that arises from things like that, I guess this is really just requiring a sit down and then just be open about it and see how each other can sort of support and so bring in more value to each other's life in terms of that. I think that's, if a female can motivate and promote, help the guy to go further in his career, I think that's great, right? Yeah. So.
No. You see, if my wife knows that I'm earning less than her, right? And accepted me and then agreed to get married and things like that. Then I don't think my wife should be trying to motivate and guide me, and so you make me feel very small, because it's already agreed that they don't. If you keep on harping on the fact that you're earning less than me, you can do this. Why don't you do that? The whole marriage is going to go apart. I think that is a fact. I don't think so. I don't think money is the main issue that's causing divorce. I don't seriously think so. Money can cause some conflict, some quarrel. I know husband and wife, they quarrel, they don't talk for a few days. In the end, everything's back to normal and all that. So I don't really think so. But you are right that now a lot of ladies are graduates and that kind of thing. But similarly, there are a lot, the men are also, in fact, now every father, mother, son, they are all graduates. Unlike my time, I got HSC, which is equivalent to A-level, you are quite, well, can take a girl, the mother all want you to marry them, but now everyone is a graduate. So it makes no difference. The Malays, there are still a lot of women marrying men who are earning less. You'd be surprised, the Malay women are seen to be doing better academically and all that kind of thing. And I think they're more thoughtful, they're more serious, and they are doing better. So I know a lot of Malay ex-colleagues who actually married down. But Chinese very rare, very rare. At most on par lah. So you're safe.
I don't know about the fact of. Yeah, I don't know about the fact about men earning power, 40% less than women, is it? I don't know. I disagree. Because, at least in my circle of friends, I think it's not hard to find same par. It's really not hard, not very high expectation. I think now, commonly, you should be able to fund yourself. At least if you go jobless for a few months, you should already have all these proper plans. And if you don't, then you're probably not the man that most women are looking for. I'm very surprised to know about the 40% lesser than woman income. Yeah, earning lesser than women. Yeah, because at least in my circle of friends, I think no one is earning less. Everyone is going up, and everyone is also at least on par. Yeah, so I don't know why, but I do agree with Danny. There's a lot of fishes out there. Don't force yourself into one pond, because if you force yourself and your values are not right, you will end up worse.
How do you know the salaries of your friends so well? That you know that a lot of them are on par and all that. Actually, I myself, I know. I won't say many, but I know at least quite a significant number of couples who the wife are earning more than the man, But they don't tell me how much they earn, but from the nature of their job, I more or less can tell, So you must be quite capable, lah.
Yeah. Okay, so I am a very good. I'm a good listener, and people do we do share about things, share about the basic stuff is boyfriend and girlfriend, and then we start talking about, hey, what you buying, investing recently, or your salary, what's your designation? Oh, we don't talk about exact figures, but we were like, oh, what's your designation now? I work in audit field for a few years, now I'm AM, roughly my next job, my expectation is 7K. And then you roughly know where they are already, right? Because they can tell you roughly my next job, my expectation is 7K. So yeah, we don't ask hey, your monthly salary now how much, how many investment you have, what assets you have, driving a car, driving a BMW. No, we don't ask that. Yeah, we naturally capo about each other, and we most of my circles like to buy stock and invest, so we tend to talk about finance a bit more, slightly a bit more, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so there's so much going on right now. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, where to start? Okay, I will tell you one thing based on personal experience, okay? Personally, yes, I've experienced that my earning power is higher than the guy, and I guess what Danny had shared sort of enlightened me too, because I've always believed okay, if we're together and you want to stay together, right? Then perhaps if you feel okay, I want to be better, or I want to aspire to become more than what I am, then I was thinking that, oh yeah, perhaps can do motivate him and say, hey, why not you try this, it's could be an option. So that was literally what I did. Apparently, yeah, like what Danny has predicted, it didn't do so well, because while out of the heart, right, you say that, oh, you really want to help this guy, you really want to see them do better. But I think at that point of time, I missed the point that they might feel that, hey, I'm very pressured by this, doesn't mean that right now you earn so much, I have to match you. Yeah, so for me, it's like you don't need to have the same income as me, but I just want you to be better. I think most girls have that intention for the guy. I just want to see that my guy does better, as good as me, at least, you see. So, ultimately, I guess there's no really there's no like right or wrong. It's not a black or white kind of thing. There is gray areas in this, and it's really on how to balance things, how to understand each other. Personally, it's because I learned from experience and then get confirmation from Danny, and it's like, yeah, it's true. These are wise words, you know, because if you really want to be in a relationship and ask yourself, why are you in a relationship in the first place? Are you there because you want a certain sort of status? Or are you there because of that person and you enjoy the person's company and you want to be around this person? If the latter is true, then in that case, perhaps both should just kind of like understand each other's point of view and understand that even if your intention might be good for the guy, but he might not see it that way, vice versa. Yeah.
Yeah. Hence the marriage vow, for better or for worse. Yeah, till death do us part. It's true. So if you want to go enter into a marriage, then you better accept the situation and what's to come.